February 27th was the Pokemon Presents showcase for the 29th anniversary of Pokemon. And I've taken the time to process my thoughts, and I just want to say, I think that was the worst showcase Pokemon has ever done.
Who in the blue hell are you?
So with that being said, you know that this is either a joke, all right, or this is like some of that like troll, rage baity, culture war nonsense type of stuff. So let's see which one it happens to be. What is up, YouTube? My name is Mario, aka the Loot Box Hero. Check out the second channel because the second channel is popping, aka the real Super Mario, aka YouTube's greatest fat man here, bringing you another video. Alright, so we have another reaction video today. We are reacting to a video I found. It was a response to the Pokemon, the Pokemon Day stuff about Legends ZA, and basically all of it in general, even though he was kind of talking about ZA for a lot of it. Yeah, so this guy is real life fake wizard. And he did a video called Pokemon is not a creative business. Alright, even though they make like hundreds of creatures like per game, but you know, it's not a creative business. We're gonna react and respond to this. So of course, if you want to continue getting videos like this from me, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button, do all the good stuff that YouTube requires you to do to continue getting videos from me. Follow me at twitter.com/RSMario128. Like and share. Like, comment, share, because the algorithm is being weird lately. I don't know what it is, but it's not pushing my stuff. So let's get on into this.
I feel no differently about it since the live stream we did. That isn't hyperbole. That isn't content creators hating on things for views. Believe me, I wish I could just love things like so many other people here. I wish I could just turn my brain off and blindly love everything. But I was cursed with critical thinking skills.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
There is nothing nice about feeling a genuine need to call out Pokemon for continuing to not innovate. This is a business that makes an ungodly amount of money and has customers so secured and permanent, there's no reason to try new things or take risks. There's no reason to innovate at all. And at least, well, that's what it feels like their logic is.
And that's it. That really should be the end of the video, because I mean, there's no real reason to innovate, because what they have works. Like, necessity is the mother of invention. So when you need to innovate, when you need to build something new, when you need to change something, then you do that. You know what I'm saying? But they don't, because what they have works. If you have a formula that works, you don't change it. All right, if you have an engine in a car that works, you don't mess with it. You might change the things around the engine. You might give it a new paint job. You might get some rims. You know what I'm saying? You might get, like, you know, air filters, you know, some cool mufflers in the back, you know, one of those racing spoiler thing deals. You know, but you won't change the engine because the engine works. All right, and that's what Pokemon has. Okay, the core of Pokemon works. This is why I always get kind of mad with the Legends games, because they always like to play with it, and that's not the thing you mess with. If there's anything, make better graphics. You know, experiment on better open world stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, find new things to do with the Pokemon, new types of Pokemon, like, but the core is fine. I never understand people that say, oh, well, Pokemon needs to innovate. Why? It is the biggest franchise on the planet. Obviously, there is something here that people like. So if that wasn't the case, then they would need to change. But okay, let's go.
Pokemon is no longer a creative business. Welcome to The Pondering. I am the real-life fake wizard. If this video brings you any value at all, consider subscribing to this channel.
How about no?
where we're posting new videos nearly every day.
No.
Allow me to set the stage. I've been a Pokemon fan since I was a child. I saw the first 3 films in theaters, and the last game that I played to completion was Legends Arceus. I streamed Scarlet and Violet on launch day, but didn't get further than about 5 hours in, which felt like a 5-hour tutorial. The graphics were so awful to look at, and the game was so choppy, I gave up and never picked it up again. I've played Pokemon Unite and Pokemon Go. I've got the TCG Pocket installed on my phone, but I sit here with you now and wish that the business showcase they just aired left me feeling something. I was a Sword and Shield apologist when it came out. I defended that game with all of its flaws, so I felt...
I was like, wait a minute, why he got all these Pokemon Stadium models in the background? I was like, wait a minute. All right, Scarlet and Violet looked bad, but it didn't look that bad. I was like, wait a second. Like, I remember that daggone Blastoise model. Like, that's a Pokemon Stadium model. That's a Nintendo 64 model, bro. Like...
extremely betrayed on Scarlet and Violet with how awful that game ran. And I know there will be a handful of comments saying, play it now, it's patched. It's really not. The game...
How do you know? Like, you haven't played it. Now, I will admit, there is still some issues with Scarlet and Violet. And personally, I always said that a lot of those issues are because of the Switch hardware not being able to play a game like that. But it is what it is. But how can you say, oh, well, it's not fixed, but you haven't played it? Like, that's like the people that see a game and they see a female character and they automatically go, oh, woke game, DEI is gonna be lame and gay, and it's like, you don't even know yet. You just see the female in the trailer. Like, you don't even know if the game is fixed yet. You haven't even tried it. Give it a spin. I mean, I'm just being honest. You've already bought the game. It doesn't cost anything but like what, maybe 20 minutes? Give it 20 minutes, give it a spin, and if you don't like it, it's fine. And to be honest, I could understand, because Scarlet and Violet was kind of booty cheeks. As much as I liked the game, it was booty cheeks. You know what I'm saying? That launch was terrible. But don't just cast it off, you know what I'm saying, without even trying it again. Like,
game is still ugly and awful to look at, and it doesn't hold up to Legends Arceus or even Sun and Moon.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
See,
no, this nigga didn't. I know this fake beard wearing nigga did not just say Scarlet and Violet does not hold up to Sun and Moon. Now, if you said Sword and Shield, I could understand, okay? Because I made a whole video about how, like, it doesn't hold up to Sword and Shield, okay? All right, but it definitely holds up to a 3DS game. This is where you know that this is just rage bait at this point. All right, we 2 minutes in, and this is basically rage bait. I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, why are you shilling?" I'm not shilling. I have talked about how bad the launch of Scarlet and Violet was, but I do give it the benefit of the doubt, though. You know, so I do give it a chance. Like, I do say that they have fixed a lot of the issues with Scarlet and Violet. All right, is it a better game than Sword and Shield? In some ways, yes. And in some ways, no. But saying, oh, it's worse than a 3DS game, that's just rage baiter garbage. Come on now.
So you have a business model where people start buying but never really stop. And with every entry, more and more players are getting introduced. So take that and then compound it with the fact that the Nintendo Switch sold amazingly well and has crossed the streams of console players with handheld players. And that would explain why all the Pokemon games during the Switch's lifespan have sold as great as they have. You have people in their 40s down to 10-year-olds playing Pokemon right now today. The brand is recognizable worldwide, with Pikachu being, debatably, more recognizable than Mickey Mouse.
Pikachu, I choose you! Go! Pikachu!
And so Game Freak doesn't have to try. They don't have to work very hard, and they know that Legends ZA is going to sell, at minimum, about 20 million units.
Maybe. He may be right. I'm saying it's probably going to be about, 18 million, something like that. I'm expecting it to be above 15, but below 20. That's my call on it, because Legends ZA is so different that I think it's going to alienate some people. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people aren't going to like the fact that it's in a city. some people aren't gonna like the fact that the entire battle system was ripped out and replaced with, Fisher Price, my first, Xenoblade playthrough. Like, it's gonna be something like that. You know what I'm saying? But it might make 20, but I personally don't think so. I think this will probably sell a little bit less than Legends Arceus did.
As long as they can deliver something similar to the Scarlet and Violet experience. And it would be at this point that I show the graphics in the Legends ZA game and say that yes, I think that Pokemon Coliseum had more creativity in its art style.
So the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into play for you?
All right, yeah, this is a troll video. Okay, and look, I'm gonna tell you how this is a troll video. This man said that okay. This man said that Scarlet and Violet looks worse than Pokemon Coliseum. Pokemon Coliseum's art style is like a mixture of Dookie Butter Brown, gray, and like other earth tones. It's very like industrial, grungy. It's very muddy. Like the colors suck. All right, the thing that was cool about Coliseum wasn't the art style. It was, Mirror B with the big Pokeball throw and the Snatcher mechanic. All right, it wasn't really the art style because the game itself looks boring. Like I'll give you, Scarlet and Violet does not look the best, but it definitely looks brighter and more colorful than Pokemon Coliseum. Like, these comparisons are trash, bro.
I also think that the story in Pokemon Coliseum was more compelling than most of the mainline entries since. I think having
the main character in Pokemon Coliseum is this dude, and he is the most boring character in Pokemon, like hands down. All right, he's an edgy teenager without being able to speak, so he just is kind of there, just being edgy. You know what I'm saying? Now the story, outside of like the stuff with like the main three characters, the stuff with Penny, Arvin, and Nimona, I'll give it to him.
Teleport pads beam you up the buildings instead of Pokemon carrying you up is boring and conveniently lazy.
Honestly, and that is a quote directly from Twitter. I've seen that tweet. That quote he took directly from Twitter. I'm not sure this guy currently played. I feel like this guy might be on like that Endymion kick, where, because you remember back in the Tears of the Kingdom video that I did with Endymion, about Endymion, he was basically like, oh, I played Zelda and I sent it back, I sold it, I didn't play another Zelda game since. But yeah, he had this entire video about how much he didn't like, Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like this dude's on the same kick. Like, what I'm saying? This dude probably hasn't played Pokemon in a while. What I'm saying? But, he feels some kind of way about the trailer. That, and, of course, he wanted to get on that algorithmic wave.
I think the Nido Burrito combat mechanics everyone is glazing over were featured in Pal World already.
What? Oh, hell no! That's hell no!
I don't know about that one either. Mainly because, like, the battle system, now if you said this about Pokemon Legends Arceus, maybe, but ZA, the battle system is clearly like from Xenoblade. This is the Xenoblade battle system with the cooldowns for your attacks, the moving around. Like, this is Xenoblade. Like, what I'm saying? Essentially, like, Power World is essentially an auto battler. Like, you don't control your pals. Even though I haven't played it in a while, I don't know if they changed some of that. But you throw the pal ball out, the pal comes out, and the pal does what he wants to do. Like, he fights, or he does what you tell him. Like, if you tell him to mine or something. But essentially, it's like that. It's an auto battler. All right, you're not directly controlling it. So these are two completely different art styles. Styles of gameplay.
And I think the idea of confining this game to just the city of Lumiose is boring. Kalos is rightfully big in Pokemon X and Y. Something that Legends Arceus got right was demonstrating the size and scale of the Sinnoh region. It's puzzling why they wouldn't want to do the same thing here, isn't it?
Well, the main thing is, Lumios is well, Kalos is kind of boring anyway. Like the European regions are always kind of sort of boring because they're kind of Europeanish, you know. But I think the main reason that they stuck this in Lumios is because they want to focus on working on making cities. Because one way to learn how to make urban environments is to just focus on making that. So if you're just making an entire game that's based in an urban environment, you're going to learn how to make cities because you have to. You know what I'm saying? And this is basically what the Legends games are. Like Legends Arceus was experimenting on how to make an open world, and Legends ZA was experimenting on how to make an urban-ish open world. You know, that's basically what this is. But I'm not a big fan of just being stuck in Lumio City either, so.
Now, I know I can hear you already. Oh, the Switch can only handle so much. Oh, the processor power. Except Breath of the Wild can do it. Mario Kart looks good. Super Mario Odyssey looks good, too. I don't understand what the excuse is here. I don't think anyone is looking for something that rivals Final Fantasy, but why can't Pokemon get out of PlayStation 2 graphics?
Wait, hold on. Who is this nigga, man? Who is this nigga, man?
Like, at least you can just be kind of honest with the comparisons. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know this is a video, you gotta be hyperbolic. I get the whole YouTube thing, but these comparisons are so trash, man.
Okay, what else is the company doing that isn't good? Because this video isn't just to dogpile on ZA. The emphasis on Pokemon as a brand expanding into these mobile games and having all of them dramatically succeed has only further proven that they don't need to focus as heavily on the mainline games anymore. The TCG Pocket game hit $100 million in sales in just the first 3 weeks, and nearly $500 million in under 100 days. That's a massive hit. Pokemon Go is worth $8 billion over its lifetime, and while much, much smaller in scale, Pokemon Unite is estimated to bring in close to $2 million a month. Of course, we haven't accounted for merchandise, which is a global powerhouse, or the actual trading card game, which is so massive that people resort to fights to get their hands on the newest releases.
So, alright, well, this one is kind of crazy because the business model for Pokemon is not really about, like, the mobile games. The mobile games are a means to an end, okay? So the way Nintendo does their business when it comes to mobile games versus their console games, they make the mobile games to give people that wouldn't normally play the Nintendo game a taste of what that Nintendo game is like, and in hopes to coax you into buying the main version of that game. You look at something like Fire Emblem Heroes. Fire Emblem Heroes is basically it gives you a taste of Fire Emblem. You get a little bit of that, you know, RPG strategy RPG gameplay, you know, the characters and the character customization or whatever. You get a little bit of that, just enough to wet your whistle to get you interested, to hopes that you buy the mainline game. So saying that, oh well, you know, the mobile games do it good, so they don't really have to do the main games that, but they don't have to worry about that, is crazy, because the mobile games exist to get you to play the main game.
But what else was announced in the showcase? Surely there was something there that felt creative and new, like Pokemon Champions? No. That's not creative or new. This Champions game got no official gameplay, but looks like it's going to be the Pokemon Company's solution to Pokemon Showdown.
It's crazy how he says, oh, it got no official gameplay, and then he shows the gameplay that was in the trailer. Like, and yeah, we didn't get to see the bars and like the item menus, all that, the move menus and stuff. But this is essentially what the gameplay is going to look like. All right, like if you expect the gameplay to look better or worse than this, then I'm sorry. Like, this is not only is this game on Switch, it's also on cell phones. It's not going to look much better than this. This is basically what the gameplay is going to look like. But okay though.
Showdown is a free battle simulator that allows users to battle other players around the world for free, and it's entirely unaffiliated with Nintendo. And at the time of recording this, there were almost 20,000 active players on a random Friday afternoon. So the Pokemon Company actually checks a series of boxes by making this Champions game. One, they delegitimize the Showdown operation. Now that process is available officially. They incentivize usage of Pokemon Home and other games, as you can send your Pokemon from home into Champions. They make a singular platform for people that want to do battles, but still play in the native games like Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet. Now there's a place for everyone to go, and all of this leads into it's just for esports.
One, I mean, esports is kind of like the cutting edge of like new sports, you know what I'm saying? So, not to mention, I mean, one of the biggest things that I have criticized Pokemon on and Nintendo on is not looking to esports, okay? Esports is huge. Look at the Overwatch League. Yes, the Overwatch League failed, but that was because the developers of Overwatch and the guy who wanted to make Overwatch into the next NFL didn't want to work together. Okay, the developers like Blizzard making the game did not care about esports, whereas the rich executive man did, and thus the whole league fell apart and died. But if they were on the same page, Overwatch League could have been huge. I mean, look at stuff like those $1 million Fortnite tournaments and the big like League of Legends league, bro. They make whole music videos, all kind of crazy stuff off of that. To say that like esports is like, oh, that's not innovative and new, that's nothing, it's just esports, is kind of crazy. Like the possibility of Pokemon really leaning into esports is huge. All right. I mean, shoot, like, man, Smash players would give their left testicle for something like this. Not to mention saying that, oh, well, you know, Pokemon Champions is not really innovative. Like, what do you want them to do? Like, what do you want? Like a Poke Souls game where you play as, like, Tinkerton with his hammer and then you go around brutalizing monsters? That's not a Pokemon game. That's a Dark Souls game with a Pokemon coat of paint. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. This dude's kind of a culture warrior, so he probably wants Pokeblade, a game with like Grandevor, but Grandevor doesn't look like Grandevor. No, Grandevor looks like a 4K Korean gacha hoe, and she kills a bunch of monsters, and it's Pokeblade. That's what he wants. That's the innovation we need in Pokemon.
This is a game to capitalize on the Pokemon sector of esports and streaming. That's what this is, and I can't quite say that's innovating. I can't quite call it creative. It's more like opportunistic. It's Nintendo having watched the user numbers on Pokemon Showdown and finally saying, no, that's mine. I am the Senate.
That's and the way I can tell you that this guy doesn't really keep up with Pokemon is, do you know how long people have been asking for a competitive battle game? You know what I'm saying? We've been asking for this for years. I made that Pokemon Battles, that was like 3-4 years ago. Okay? And we've been asking for this longer than that. Like, the fact that, oh, it's not really innovative. Sometimes you don't need to innovate. Sometimes you need to see a hole in the market and be like, wow, there's a hole in the market. I think I'm gonna fill it.
Phrasing. Shut up!
And that's what they did. Now to say that, oh well, they're delegitimizing Showdown. For one, as much as I love Showdown, Showdown is not a legitimate platform. It's a fan platform. Okay, like it's cool to play on, it's fun to play on, but it's still a fan platform. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that's crazy to be like, oh man, like giving your customers products they want. That's not innovative.
And I wouldn't be the first to say that Pokemon, and Nintendo for that matter, do lots of things with just the intention of capitalizing on the marketplace.
Yes, business. That's how it works. All right, business. See hole in market, provide product, fill hole, make money. That's business. Okay.
In an interview with Pokemon CEO Tsunekazu Ishihara, he commented on the aspects of the trading card game. Quote, when the secondhand market becomes more valuable because of rarity, that is problematic because our business is affected. He said, in response to many fans' suggestion to just print more cards. Ishihara makes it clear that, quote, those items are seen to be valuable because they're rare or seen as vintage, and it's not our place to say they're not. The Pokemon Company knows exactly what they're doing. They know that the trading card game was supposed to be gambling for kids.
So this talking point is something that has been around for a while, saying that the trading card game was just gambling for kids. And I can understand, how they would see that, where it's like, oh, if you open the pack, you never know what you're gonna get. You could get something really good or you could get something really lame. But that's not gambling, though. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody knows that you could get something good or you could get something lame. They've been doing this since baseball cards way back in the 30s and 40s. So how is it now all of a sudden, oh, well, that's just gambling for children? Come on now. That's dumb.
Oh, sorry, no, it's not gambling. It's surprise mechanics. And they know that the markups in the secondhand market will contribute to lots and lots of people buying the products TPC puts on shelves. The intensity in the secondhand market leads to more discussion. More discussion leads to more sales. It's all intentional. And
so did this man just bust out the, oh, it's all intentional. Yes, the conspiratorial, like, tinfoil hat conspiracy of Pokemon not printing Pokemon cards because they want word of mouth to get people to buy more Pokemon cards? What kind of too big conspiracy is that? Like, I thought he was gonna bust out and be like, oh yeah, George Soros doesn't want American children to be happy buying Pokemon cards, so he is purposely telling Nintendo not to print extras. Like, stop it, bro. For one, it's not really up to Nintendo or the Pokemon Company to resolve this issue, all right, because it's not their issue. They could double the next shipment of Prismatic Evolution or whatever they call it. Guess what? The problem is still going to be the same because it's a retailer level problem, all right? Because the whole thing is, like, if they double the shipment of the Pokemon cards, the same bots and the same scalpers are going to go and buy all of them and then sell them. Now, of course, will that reduce the price that they can sell them for because there's more? Yes, but they're still going to buy them all. It is a retailer level problem. It's not a problem with Nintendo. They can't fix this unless they can get the retailers to limit how much they sell to people. And the retailers don't care because at the end of the day, the product is leaving the store and they are getting the money. That's what it is.
if it's all intentional there, then I have to believe that restricting access to old games is also intentional. We live in a time where Xbox and Sony, and even Nintendo for that matter, have worked in methods to their business plans to bring back classic games. It's a big selling point. It's part of the biggest reason to have subscriptions to any of these three. Xbox's entire philosophy right now is being backwards compatible.
Xbox's entire philosophy is killing itself. Because, I mean, trying to compare Nintendo to Xbox is crazy. And even Sony, to that matter. Because everything they've done in the last couple of years has just hurt them. You know what I'm saying? Sony wanted to go on to the... they wanted to ride the games as a service bandwagon. And guess what? They released 2, and all the rest of them got canceled. And then one of the ones they released, that one didn't even work. Look at what happened to Concord. You know what I'm saying? And then Xbox, there is zero reason in big 2025 to buy an Xbox. Zero. None. Nada. None at all. Because, I mean, why would I buy an Xbox when I could just get Game Pass on PC and just play the games on my PC? You know what I'm saying? Why would I buy an Xbox when I could just wait and play the games on PlayStation? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, it's the backwards compatibility with old games. Okay, I mean, that's... Okay, I can see that, but I also keep all my systems. I have every system I've ever had. Plus, I have games for them. You know what I'm saying? Do they work? They might still work, but the thing is, it is what it is. Now, I do understand, like, them not re-releasing these games and throwing them on Virtual Console or selling them or something. I get that, but I don't think they're doing it on purpose so they can increase the word of mouth so they could sell more. Because how are they going to sell more and benefit from the increased word of mouth if they're not selling them? Like,
And I've said before, I would pay full retail price for each copy of the classic Game Boy games if they were ported to the Switch. Well, why do you want to do that? Because I hate holding the old systems. They're too small. Why don't you just use ROMs? Because Nintendo has been destroying all the access points to get them. So they're harder to get now, and picking up viruses and malware has become much more likely.
dude, has that stopped people before? Like, what? I mean, yeah, you could pick up viruses and malware, but that's why they have software for that, you know? Like, okay, though, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, yeah, Nintendo's gonna make me get a virus so because they won't sell their old games to me. Like,
With the push for virtual consoles, why is Nintendo holding on to them? Is this a Nintendo thing or a Pokemon Company thing? Why not release them either on the virtual consoles or for sale? GameCube games too. Why is Fire Emblem $200 to $400 for the GameCube? Because of
hold up, let me see what he says. Hold on.
supply and demand. Low quantity, higher prices. It means they can keep their current games marked up because they're always going to be valuable.
Okay, all right. So he is partially right, but the thing is, for one, how many places are selling brand new, like from the factory, Pokemon games? Like, as far as like Pokemon Red, Yellow, Blue, Green, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many people are selling that who aren't like collectors? Like, you're not gonna go into like a GameStop and find like a factory sealed Pokemon Fire Red and be like, oh snap, let me get this, and then it costs like $50 or whatever. Like, you're not gonna find that in a lot of places. Not to mention the secondhand market. Like, Nintendo doesn't make any money from any of that, so they literally don't benefit at all from not releasing the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't. Now, the one thing I will say about this is there's a very good chance that the reason why they're not re-releasing the old games is because they want people to buy the new ones. All right, because there's a lot of times when like you re-release the old ones and people just go back and play that, especially with a big nostalgic franchise like Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? Like, which one are you gonna play? Are you gonna play Pokemon Platinum or are you gonna play BDSP? I'm gonna tell you which one I would play. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why they don't release those games, because people might not buy the new ones. All right, and as far as Fire Emblem goes, the reason why Fire Emblem is so expensive is because those games, they didn't print a lot of them, mainly because those games weren't selling a lot. See, the games he's talking about are the Ike games. So he's talking about Radiant Dawn and Path of Radiance. Now, the reason why these two games are rare and they sell so at such a high price is because, one, they didn't sell that much, so they didn't make that many. So if they didn't make that many, then they're going to be rare anyway. See, these games are the pre-awakening Fire Emblem games, and this is when Fire Emblem was kind of declining in sales. All right, these games are really good, but not too many people bought them. All right, so yeah, that's why they cost so much. I don't think Nintendo is like, oh, we're gonna not reprint these old games so that we could sell the 8 that we still have in the warehouse for full price. Come on, dog. Come on.
Play Pal World at all when it released. I didn't install it until recently, actually. And then I played the hell out of it. I pulled all-nighters on work days because I was so keyed into this game. It took the concepts from other games and tried something new with them.
Bros, come. Hey, bros, our God is a merciful God.
We're not going there. No, sir. Nah, I'm not gonna let you weasel away on that one. He said that Power World was innovative, but Pokemon Power World is a hodgepodge of different games smashed together with just enough gelatin to keep them from collapsing. Okay, That's what Power World is. It takes a little bit of this Survivor game. It takes some Pokemon. It takes a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and they mix them together, and that's what it is. Like, how is that innovative? Like, you didn't even make your own system. Like, you just used the concept of other systems. Now, I know people say that there's no original thing under the sun, but like, this takes it to a whole new level. Even the designs of some of the monsters are very much like Pokemon. How is this innovative and Pokemon not? Come on, dog.
And it's not perfect. It's not a perfect game in any way by any means, but it was new, it was exciting, and it had solid challenges. You felt compelled to figure out what was the best methods to keep improving, and that's seldom found in new Pokemon games. Pokemon games are so cut and dry. They're soulless. I mean, Legends Arceus was great. You can tell they were doing something there. But Sword and Shield, BDSP, Scarlet and Violet, all of the DLCs, they're just phoning it in. And they're phoning it in because the brand.
Of course, well, he hasn't played anything other than the first 5 hours of Scarlet and Violet. The Synchro Machine? The Synchro Machine is one of the most innovative things they've done in Pokemon. It allows you to play as the Pokemon, and you can create new ways to play the game. People are having Synchro Machine races with each other. Not to mention, he forgot one of the biggest innovations that Pokemon has done with Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield was the co-op play. They put co-op play in Pokemon. I'm sorry, that's not innovative though. You literally have to invent a new way of interacting with life in order for it to be innovative. They need to invent like holograms. That's what they need to do. Pokemon needs to make the dual disc. Alright, you know what I'm saying? But make it a Pokeball. So you throw the Pokeball, you press the button, throw the Pokeball, and then a hologram comes up. And it's like, I'm Chipakumon. And then that's the innovation he's looking for in Pokemon. Okay, bruh.
Is all business all the time. As customers, we wait all year to get an announcement from this company because everyone wants more, because we care. And instead of something worth caring about, it's just a business presentation from corporate. Team Rocket's blasting off again.
That's crazy, dog. So, all in all, here's the thing. I think this is not really a joke. This is more like troll, rage bait, culture warrior stuff. I understand what he's saying when he talks about like some things are not really innovating in Pokemon, but they don't really have to. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Look at other franchises that have innovated themselves. Look at Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy innovated themselves into an identity crisis. Now they're the non-binary person of video games. Have no idea what they are, as a game. You know what a perfect example of bad innovation? Shenmue. Have you ever played Shenmue? Shenmue is a classic game from back in the day that inspired games like Yakuza. All right, like in the last couple of years, 2022, they made Shenmue 3, finally a sequel to Shenmue, and they innovated that sucker into the earth. New graphics, new area to explore. Not a lot of story because nothing happens. It's literally a filler game, but they innovated the battle system, the fighting system. You know what I'm saying, to be easier for new players. Guess what? It's trash. The coolest thing about the Shenmue fighting system was the fact that it was Shenmue. You know what I'm saying? It was a literal fighting game. Alright? And they took that out for this weird casual like press direction button blah 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 Fisher Price my first fighting game system. And it's terrible. They literally innovated their franchise into an early grave. Alright? Sometimes if you have something that works, you don't need to mess with it. Alright? And to be honest, Pokemon does not need to innovate the core of Pokemon. We don't need real-time battle systems. We don't need freaking, active battle systems. We don't need any of that kind of stuff. We don't need like 4K hyper realistic Sony level graphics for a game about catching monsters. We don't need any of that. All they need to do is to improve what they have. Simple as that. So, tell me what you think in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, people, keep it real.